this is Bill Prater, and welcome to the Business Builder Show, where we feature champions in their respective industries from all over the globe. Our mission is to provide you with timely, provocative, and actionable resources that will inspire, promote, and accelerate your quest for business excellence. Today, we're going to find out the secrets of the wealthy, and Nina Cooke is going to walk us through that. Now, Nina is a person who absolutely helps entrepreneurs create an unstoppable mindset that boosts their profit. She's the co-author of the Renegade Mindset, which is a financial advisor's guide to peak performance mindset. She's the host of Wealthy Advisor Mindset podcast. She's been featured in Entrepreneur Magazine and on BBC Radio. So, Nina, thanks very much for sharing your time and your wisdom today. Now, Nina, I know because you and I visited over the years, but tell our audience who you serve.
Thank you for letting me be a guest on your show, Bill. It's great to be here. I serve entrepreneurs, as you said, coaches, consultants, independent financial advisors. I help them to create an unstoppable mindset so they can grow their business. Often, entrepreneurs think that what they need is a great marketing strategy, be good at sales, have the right website, etc., the right branding, and all of these things are very, very important. But nothing will work as well as they wanted to until they have the right thinking about how to be a successful entrepreneur. And because we don't tend to be aware of our thinking and how we sabotage ourselves, the critical part of that is to become self-aware of what the engine of your life, which is your mind, if it's working for you or if it's working against you. So for example, if you got in the car and you want to drive from San Francisco to New York, you would know the direction of travel. You would intentionally say, I'm going to go to New York. If you don't put that intention in, your car could randomly take you to any destination in America. It's exactly the same with your mindset. It can randomly take you down rabbit holes. It can trip you up. It can send you backwards. It can keep you stuck where you are. And if you don't know how to change that, then you can spend a lot of time and money and energy on trying to move your business forward, but it will not go forward until you address your mindset first.
So, what problems create what you've just described? The problems that you've been able to identify, Nina, and solve?
There's two types of problems. There's the internal set of limiting beliefs that we have around money and success. So beliefs like it's dangerous to be successful, I'm a loser, I'm a failure, nothing works for me, I'm not good enough, it's dangerous to put myself out there. Then we have all the beliefs around money. It's hard to make enough money. It's a struggle. I'm not the kind of person who makes a lot of money. No one's going to pay me that much. So we have all of these pesky demons inside of us saying, don't go for that. Don't do that. It's too risky. You'll fail. You'll be rejected. Don't do it. Danger. So there we have the internal negative dialogue about ourselves going on, and then we have the outward stuff that we can see in terms of our habits and our behavior. So for example, if your habit is to mess around in the morning, not sit down at your desk until 11 a.m., go on your phone, do a little bit of work, break for lunch, put off doing the calls and follow-ups and all the important stuff you need to be doing, you end your day and you think, I didn't get much done today. I know, I'll get it all done tomorrow. So those are the habits and behaviors which support your limiting beliefs. But unfortunately, what's happening is your limiting beliefs and your behaviors aren't supporting your goal. They're actively working against your goal. So if those three things, beliefs, habits and behavior and goals are not lined up, then there's going to be a mismatch. And what will win is not the goals or the habits. Your beliefs always win the day because they are your programming, which is running the show. And sometimes, because we have many limiting beliefs, which we kind of inherit, absorb as a child from parents, teachers, community, society, it's it's like having a 6-year-old running your life, because that's when you formed many of your beliefs, making the decisions in your life, rather than a fully functioning adult.
Nicely explained, a little bit intimidating to some of our listeners, I think. So
I don't mean
my
to
next
scare
question
anyone. I'm
is,
just trying to paint a
now
picture of
that you've
what's going
painted
on.
this picture, Nina, how do you typically go about solving those problems for your clients?
I work on several different levels. The first thing I always do with my clients is ask them to think big about their goals. So we have different levels of goals in our lives. And Bill Proctor, who was an amazing mindset coach, he identified 3 different levels of goals. He said you can have an A level goal, which is a goal that you know you can easily get. Maybe you're going to change your car and you're going for the same model again. It's absolutely achievable. No inspiration around it, no learnings, nothing. And then we have a B level goal, and a B level goal is a bigger goal where you're thinking, maybe I'd like to grow my business by 20% this year. And I need to put these steps into place. And then if the stars align, I'll have a bigger profit at the end of the year. And that is a stretch, but it's not very inspiring. It's just, I feel I should be doing this. So there is that level goal. And then there's a C level goal, which most people never think about. And a C level goal is the big fantasy goal. So it's the goal that feels unachievable. It feels a bit scary. It feels a bit exciting. And this is what you really truly want. If you were to ignore everything that society tells you should have, what your family tell you should have, or your partner, and all of that, you just ignore all of that and you just say, what life do I really want? And you write down that goal. So it could be around your how much money you have, your health, how much time you take off, volunteering, setting up a, a foundation to help less privileged people, whatever it is, you write that goal down and you write it on a card. So I have a card, I always have it next to me. And on one side, I've got my business desire. On the other side, I've got my personal desire. And this is what I want in life. And it's big and it's bold, because what's important about having a C level goal is not so much how much money you have or living in a bigger house and all of that. What's important is your growth, because the growth comes in thinking big, in stretching your imagination. Because as you focus on the goal, as you look at it every day and you consistently think about it, what that does, it takes from being a theory out there to coming inside you, where you have a very deep emotional connection to it. So anything you think about on a daily basis is going to become familiar to you. It's going to become like a friend to you. So you develop an emotional attachment to the big, scary C level goal. And as you do that, you start thinking about it. And then you start getting inspiring thoughts about it. And then you start seeing opportunities around it. And then something big happens. You think, wow, why did that happen? How did that happen? Oh, maybe it's got something to do with the fact I was really focusing on this new goal, because it gives you a new train of thought in your mind. And what seemed completely unachievable and crazy suddenly feels familiar. And when it feels familiar, then you get used to the idea and your expectations start molding around this goal. This isn't an overnight thing, Bill. The thing with mindset is not like you think about it once or twice and then it all magically falls into place. It's a daily mindset practice. It's discipline, it's commitment to having what you want something bigger than you've thought about before. It takes your attention, it takes your focus, it takes your pouring yourself into the goal and letting the goal absorb you. So you become so stubborn about it, so obstinate about it, you think, I'm going to have this no matter what. Because the problem is that it is a problem, I think, in life, that most people want more, but they don't want to do more to have
Mm.
that. They don't want to take that extra level of hardship on. Because if you think, if I go for that, then I'll have to work a lot harder, longer. I might fail a lot along the way. I can't cope with that. I'm really going to be putting myself out there in a big way, rejection, all that stuff. Oh no, I don't want to any of that because I don't know how to do it. So the thing when you create your C-level goal is don't think about the how, which sounds crazy because we're programmed to think about how am I going to do that? When is it going to happen? So when you think about this, you think about the end result. And then the hows will come to you as long as you're focusing on that. So when people think about that's too big for me, I'm not the kind of person who could ever have that life. What they're doing is they're shutting down their imagination. And the imagination has no limits. You can think anything you want. Think about the inventions that we see in our world. Those people, they went for C-level goals and they burnt those C-level goals into their mind and they fixated on them. The Wright brothers, they were making bicycles and then in their imagination, they saw a flying machine. Everyone around them would have said, you are crazy. Forget that. It's never going to happen. Just focus on your bicycle business. But they kept thinking about it and nurturing it and imagining it. They fell in love with this idea. And then they started putting pen to paper and started making things. But first of all, the imagination has to create the dream, the goal, and you've got to nurture it and give it lots of love and build that strong emotional connection to it.
So Nina, my listeners are thinking, okay, that makes sense, but how do we actually do this? Maybe you could tell us a case study about a real person that you've helped some time back. You take us through how they came into your universe and how you got them started and step by step and what the outcome was. I think that'd be great for our listeners to hear a
Of
real case
course.
study.
I have an amazing client, a financial advisor. He's in his late 60s. When we started working together, he said his goal was to sell his business. He wanted to retire. And he said, I hope to sell it within the next 3 or 4 years. And I'm not sure if I'll get what I want for it and all this stuff. So I said, okay, let's focus on what you want. Not what you think you can get, but what would be your ideal scenario about selling the business? And he said, I'd like to sell it as soon as possible. I'd like to sell it at the price that I want someone to buy at the price I want to sell it for. I want my team really well taken care of. I want to be able to continue to work in that business on my terms, which is working the hours that I want to work and on only doing the work that I love doing. And he said, and I'd like that my practice, after it's been sold, to combine with other practices and they to be sold as a group. So I get another lump sum payment further down the line. I said, okay, so what would you like to do with your extra time you're going to have when you sell it? I'd like to do some volunteering, spend more time with my family, grandchildren. I want to be healthy. I want to lose some weight. I want to make sure that when I go to the doctors, he gives me the all clear on everything because had a few health problems. So I said, okay, so we're going to write that down in one sentence that will fit on a card. That's all we're going to do. So we wrote it down in one sentence. He read it through. Are you happy with it? Because we can tweak it as we go along. Yeah, that's all great. So after a few months of working together, he's in the position where he has 4 offers to buy his business. And they're coming in. One of the offers is a really nice offer for him. and they're going to take care of his team. And, he's going to be able to work there. This is the negotiations they're having at the moment. So when he first started working with me, he thought this was something that's going to hopefully happen one day, but not exactly as he wanted to be. He may have to compromise on the price of the business and all the rest of it. But because he did exactly as I asked him to do, he created a daily mental practice built around his goals, and we did lots of other work along the way. He's in a position now where he's a bit surprised by all of this attention for his business, but that's how it works. But you have to put in the time and the commitment to focus on your goal.
There are other people on the planet that say, hey, I can help you with the mindset. So tell us how you're different from your competition out there, Nina.
What I've done, Bill, is I've studied the great personal development teachers. And I look for the common threads through everything because I like things that, first of all, work. I like them to be simple because I ask my clients to absorb a mindset practice into their daily life. So it has to work, it has to be simple, and it has to be something that you can do throughout the day. So having studied all these masters, there are certain things which they all have in common that they all say works for them, and it's been proven to work. They've had huge success themselves and helped thousands, hundreds of thousands of people along the way. And what it boils down to is having a big goal, a C-level goal, because if you're going to be spending time working towards something, make it something that you really want. You have to learn how to focus on the goal. And believe me, there's a lot of resistance to focusing on your goal. You think we'd be running to focus on our goal because we're so good at focusing on our problems, but changing our mindset to focus on our goals and really getting to know it can be a big resistance point for many people because they've got a whole set of limiting beliefs saying they can't have it. So we have to deal with those limiting beliefs. We have to dissolve them and create new powerful beliefs. I have to help my clients to change their identity, their self-image about who they are, because if you're going to suddenly have a business that brings in a 7-figure business doing work that you love, you have to see yourself as the person who has that life, because then you believe it. So we do work around the self-image and the self-identity. And then the other really important bit is changing the habits and behavior, taking out unproductive habits and replacing them with productive habits. So everything is lined up and aligned with that goal. So for example, if your habit is that, I'll use the same habit again, that you get up really late in the morning and you're not giving time to your business, you're not getting all the important stuff done in the morning, then you've got to change that habit. So it means you have to look at what you're doing the night before. Are you going to bed late? Are you watching TV really late? Are you scrolling through your phone before you go to sleep? What's happening there? So you need to change all of that. So you can get up bright and early in the morning, maybe spend a couple of hours on your well-being, exercise, reading, walking, whatever it is. So you're ready to sit at your desk at 9 a.m., fresh, alert, ready to start your day properly. So these are all the things that I bring together in my Unstoppable Success program. And because I work one-to-one with clients, obviously I customize it to what works for them. So I've got many tools in my toolbox, and I have to find the tool that they will grab and run with. So for some clients, there will be, I'll say, use this tool to get your mindset in place. It won't work for them, so we'll try another tool. There will be something in there that will work for them because they have to integrate it into their life and they have to be willing to do it every single day.
Excellent. Let's talk about the Nina Cooke story. So what were the major milestones, Nina, as you went about building your current business?
The major milestones, well, it started before I built this business because I built my first online business in 2005, and it was a personal shopping business. Personal shopping business became very successful very quickly. I didn't know what I didn't know. So I just had a fantastic team of personal shoppers, amazing makeup artists. There wasn't a huge amount of competition online at that point. I had a really good business coach, and my personal shopping business was number one on Google, on page number one. And we were using Google Ads to drive all the business. It was working really well. In those days, Google Ads was relatively cheap. And my business coach knew what he was doing, so that was all working really well. However, looking back, I realized that even though it became a six-figure business very quickly, it could have been a lot bigger. And the reason it wasn't a lot bigger is because I was not willing to put myself out there. I grew up believing that life was dangerous. I had to keep myself safe by being invisible. That's how I grew up in my family. And as we said, our 6-year-old beliefs still run the show as the adult. So I still was trying to keep myself safe by being invisible, which meant I didn't have my name on my website. I didn't have my photo on my website. I didn't do any marketing apart from Google Ads. I wasn't using social media. I wasn't being seen. And because of that, I was losing out on business, particularly corporate business. And funny enough, it was a corporate client that I booked by phone. I hadn't met them. It was all done by phone. It was a very big accountancy company in central London. And they booked an evening, pampering evening for their top female guests. So I took along a team of 20 stylish shoppers, manicurists, etc., and makeup artists. And at this evening event, there was champagne flowing, canapes, it was all very smart. I thought, I've got a perfect opportunity to speak to the senior management and see what other business we can do together. Great opportunity here, and they had their top clients there. But what I did instead of going out to talk to those senior management and their top clients, I hid in an office all evening because I was so scared to talk to them in case they saw how flawed I was. So in case they saw that I wasn't good enough and there was something wrong with me. And I thought they would see that within me if they talked to me, and they'd wonder why they ever booked me. So I hid away. And at the end of the evening, when they'd all gone and I was helping my team to pack up and make sure they were all okay, I went home on the train, and it was a dark November evening, and I looked in the train window reflection, and I thought, oh my goodness, you've just done it again. You've just messed up again. This is just a pattern. I keep repeating. So then I thought, okay, I'm going to do something about it. When you have that moment, you think, no more. I'm going to fix this once and for all. And so I went on a very long, winding personal development journey for myself to find a permanent cure, because I really believed I had something missing within me that other people had, and I had to fix this missing bit within me. And along the way, I tried so many blind ends, rabbit holes, until I found a coach who said, okay, the only reason you believe you're not good enough, that you're not, there's something wrong with you, is because you have limiting beliefs that are telling you this, but they're not true about you. So I'm going to show you how you can fix this. And he did. He helped me to dissolve them. And then I started showing up in a completely different way because I changed my identity of who I was. The world was no longer a scary place. It was safe for me to put myself out there. It was safe for me to put up my fees. And the result of that was, and this wasn't a result I was expecting, was that my profit started going up because I was suddenly talking to big businesses, Goldman Sachs, Sky. I was booking them. I had the confidence because I realized my value finally. And as my profit started going up, I thought, that's interesting. There's a link between mindset and profit. And I lost interest in the personal shopping business because suddenly I was thinking, whoa, I can help other entrepreneurs who hold themselves back, who think small, to change their identity, their belief system, their thinking, their habits, and then they can go out and get bigger clients. And that's what I did. So that's how I started this business. I started working with coaches initially, and I focused on results. I really focused on getting them the best results because I was learning initially. And then I kept tweaking my methods, finding out what worked, what didn't work, what the client was able to do on their own in between the calls. And during that time, I was training, learning, and I'm always training, I'm always learning, I'm always trying things out on myself. And then I share them with my clients. So it's almost like everything, every session is a workshop. Every session with my clients, they are actually doing whatever I ask them to do, using the tools in front of me so we can tweak them, we can make sure that they're working for them. So nothing is left to chance. And that's how I steadily grew my business. And I started working with consultants and I started working with financial advisors. I co-wrote a book with a financial advisor. I do training workshops for companies. So this is the stuff that I love to do because there is no end to it. There's never a point when you think, I know it. It's always learning, finding out what can work better. What is a simpler way of getting them a better result? What takes less from them that they can incorporate it into their life? And it's just fascinating working with people and getting to know the insides of their mind and their thinking. It's just the biggest privilege.
What do you think? Here we are, a quarter of the way through the century. So, what do you think is holding your business back at this moment in time?
My own thinking, it's not big enough. I can think much bigger. And there's a part of me that's lazy and wants to be comfortable, but I keep my goals in mind. And I've got so much faith in my methods that I'm 100% sure, confident that I'm going to have all of this. I don't know when, I don't even know all the hows, but I had a great conversation with someone today and I thought, wow, that could be huge. I had an inspiring thought, an idea, and I thought, this is great. I'm going to run with it. I'm going to tell people about it, so I have to follow through on it. So I do, obviously, I take action. I have to take action, but I wait for the big ideas and the opportunities to come to me now. So I don't want to be chasing and hustling. I know that with my solid foundation of my daily mindset practice and my focus and discipline, that I will absolutely have whatever I want because that is now my expectation, it's my belief. So I can relax more within me, knowing that I'm going to have it.
Excellent, wonderful. Nina, how can our listeners get a hold of you and get their hands on the free gift that you've thought about offering to them?
It's very easy. I can give you the link, Bill, it's quite a long link, so I'm not going to say it here.
It'll be in the show notes, of course.
Yes. So what I've discovered over time is the two sets of beliefs that hold most entrepreneurs back are success limiting beliefs and money limiting beliefs. So if you have them, then you're going to find it really hard to move forward. So what I've done is I've made it very easy for you to discover exactly which beliefs are holding you back. I've taken the beliefs that come up most frequently with my clients and I put them on a Millionaire Mindset Mastery Scorecard. So all you have to do is just take a few minutes to score yourself on these success and money limiting beliefs, and you will get a very accurate snapshot of what's going on in your mind and your thinking and how you are stopping yourself from having more success. So if you go to the link, you'll get your results very quickly, and then you'll get an email breaking down your results and also the next step that you can take to make sure you dissolve those beliefs once and for all.
Wonderful. Nina, I've asked you several questions, but there's probably one that I should have thought of and didn't. So, what is that unasked question that you can pose and then answer that would give huge value to our listeners?
Why do people think of being more successful as a hardship? Okay, so Earl Nightingale had a great answer for this. Earl Nightingale was a prolific personal development teacher, put out so much content, great content. And he said there are two hardships in life. One hardship is going for what you want and having to create new habits to have what you want. So it may be that you create a habit of reaching out more often to your prospects and following up with your clients, marketing more efficiently. That could be a hardship for people. People don't want to do that because of all the things that we've already mentioned, rejection, and is it going to work, and it's going to be a waste of my time and I don't know how to do it. So they think of that as a hardship. However, the most successful people will do that. They will do what it takes. They will endure the hardship of creating a new habit to be more successful because they are so devoted to their goal that they will do whatever it takes. And the funny thing with that hardship of creating a new habit is as you create a new habit and you keep doing it, it becomes easier and easier. So it doesn't feel like a hardship after a while. It just feels a part of who you are, your identity. So that's one hardship. So we can choose between that hardship and the other hardship. And the other hardship is a hardship of settling for mediocrity and disappointment in your life. Settling for less. Looking back and thinking, I wish I'd gone for my big goal. I wish I'd made a different decision. So that's also a hardship. Staying in your comfort zone and settling for less is a hardship as well. So we can choose which hardship we want to have in our life. The hardship of staying where we are, comfortable, but doesn't make you that happy, or the hardship of creating new habits to achieve your goals.
That's great. Fantastic. Thanks very much, Nina. Thanks for sharing your time and your wisdom with everybody today.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
So everybody, in closing, let's focus on the single fact that our businesses don't become extraordinary in a single moment. Instead, they get there as the result of you, the owner, first creating a vision for the future, executing it with a system of management, and number three, leveraging high performance teams. Now, you'll find the ingredients for all of that. Just go to my YouTube channel, which is Business Mastery Pro. Thanks for listening. Nina, once again, thanks for spending your time with us today.